What's up, everyone? My name is Isis and I'm back with another video. I'm so excited. Today we are going to be doing another edit with me, speed edit, whatever you want to call it. So I'm super excited because it's the first time I've ever done an album cover or anything like that. Given that this was my first time ever doing an album cover, I definitely wanted to talk about my design process, my inspiration, and basically just how I got it done. The reality is you don't like every design you do, so I had no idea how this was gonna turn out, but I ended up loving it. The process, design, everything was so cool and so dope. So I'm glad that I kind of thugged it out a little bit and just recorded and see like what the final product is. So basically how I handle all my commissions is I offer 3 versions or like 3 renditions of the ask for a prefixed price, for a quoted price, and then whichever design that they like the best, we pick it and we work on it. And I'm still kind of figuring out how I like to do it, because one time this girl literally had me make 80 logos and she was like, I just want a different font, and I'm like, baby, what kind of font? So I'm working on a way to really like get my customers to say what it is that they want, but it's hard because sometimes people don't know what they want until they see it. So the name of the project is Damaged Goods, and some of the key elements that he was asking for was like a torn box, a literal damaged good, and like a broken mirror. I took all that into consideration and applied it, and yeah. Okay, so the first project that I did was the first edit that I did was the Damaged Goods edit. And right now I'm just kind of like shifting through Design Syndrome's assets to see which template I wanted to use. This was an album cover mock-up that I purchased from Design Syndrome, like I was saying. So now I wanted to sift through the fonts and kind of see what font like gives like Damaged Goods, and I landed on, oh well, let me not spoil it, I'm still working on not spoiling it, but I wanted to also look up like Damaged Goods and see what I could find as far as like, because they make signs that say like Damaged Goods, like buy now, stuff like that, but Google really didn't help sometimes, so that's why I use Pinterest and TikTok and Instagram and like all the apps, all the social medias. I like to see like what other creatives are doing and stuff. So now I brought in this image of him and I'm like figuring out how I want to work around it. I love this heat map, gradient map, and I'm gonna actually like make like some packs, maybe I feel like everybody does a gradient map packs, but whatever. It's not the first time anybody has thought of that idea, but yeah, so right now I'm just going in and designing the picture and how I want the picture to look. And I don't think I know in hindsight what I was doing, but at this time I didn't know that I was going for like a literal like damaged good like wooden package. So yeah, I found this marker text thing, and in theory I didn't like this font, but I probably could have added some like a displacement map or like some sort of texture to the text. So I keep switching back and forth, but basically like I'm working on two PNG images that I'm gonna insert into the asset, and they were a smart object, but like I don't really have that much space on my computer. I gotta get my hard drives and I don't have a lot of space on my computer, so I have to get my hard drives and stuff together. So I just worked in it in a completely separate file, and then I'm gonna export it and then insert it and then work around it that way, which is a little sloppy, but like I said, I don't really have that much space on my computer. So but yeah, so I'm just kind of like reworking the image, and it was like super blurry in the background, but I was like not even feeling it. And I'm glad I went with this black and white layer mask, because layer masks, those be coming in clutch. Sometimes like the best designs just be so simple, like adjusting the levels, the curves, and throwing on a black and white filter, and then it'd be like the best, the most creative, the best design since a Kanye album cover in 2007. But anyways, now I'm going into the Free Woods backgrounds, and this was probably also a little messy, like commercial use wise. Like I probably could have found like a website that has like free commercial pictures, but sometimes they'll tell you, like, if you read, you can't just like snatch any old picture off Google, but like if you read, it'll be like free whatever. The website, don't write free if y'all gonna make me pay, because I'm gonna use it because y'all said it was free, period. But anyways, so I love this wooden aesthetic, this like stamp vibe. You know, my grandpa used to be a beer distributor, and he used to have like stamps like this. So I'm like, I just think it's really cool that like he is a stamp, you know? Maybe not, I don't know. But at this point, I think I'm just trying a whole bunch of overlays and stuff to make the wood like look real. I mean, not real, but like, you know, so it could look woody without looking super duper crazy. I'm just kind of like reworking everything, and like ultimately I kind of like this part of my design process because it's like all of the elements, I know how each separate element, how I want it to work, and then at the end it's mostly like me moving things around and editing things so that they work together. So like you peep, found the text first, and then I did the cutout of his body, and then I inserted the wood. So now I'm like editing, now that I have these three elements that I like and that I'm keeping, I'm just editing them all so that they work together. And sometimes it works, and sometimes that like formula works and sometimes it doesn't, but I just be clicking around. I feel like a lot of people don't realize that about some things. When you learn things, you just click around and see what works and what doesn't. Oh, okay. So now I'm going back into the mock-up and I'm inserting it into the damaged goods, like I keep calling it that, but like that's not the real name of it. Into the template, and seeing how it works. At the beginning, you know, I was like sifting through to see like which had the most coverage. Like I really like this one, but obviously the text is like weird. So I went back to open the other file to go fix the text, and it is a little messy, it is, but I know what I be doing, and that's all that matters, period. So yeah, now I'm just literally reworking it, and that's basically it. I really like Design Syndrome and their assets, and I feel like I'm trying not to rely too much on mock-ups and assets, and I'm gonna get to a point where like I can create, but sometimes you gotta like buy the sauce to create the sauce, you know what I'm saying? Or create like your own little spin on a sauce. Yeah, because like you could buy a recipe book, but like the meal not gonna come out exactly like the recipe. So sometimes you gotta invest like that. But I love doing that because it really just makes me a better designer, and it like and it helps me learn so much because I am self-taught. Literally, I've been designing for like almost 3 years now. It's so crazy how when you look for inspiration when I look for inspiration in my downtime, like I just like something and I'll save it, and then when it's time for a design, like it never fails. Like there's always something on my Pinterest boards that I can look back to for inspiration, which is so cool. It's like I be knowing. I mean, I'm psychic, but I already knew that. I don't gotta prove my psychic abilities, but like I know what I'll need in the future, which is crazy. I mean, I guess not that crazy, because I feel like most creatives are pretty intuitive anyway. But yeah, that's basically it for this video. I tried to have notes to like keep me on track, but that's pretty straightforward. That was the first design. So this next design is something that he was pretty adamant about, the broken mirror effect, and initially it was my idea that I brought to him to the table, but I was just gonna like freak it on my end, and then somehow he was sending me pictures of him in the broken mirror, and I was like, oh my god, bad luck. I didn't ask him to break the mirror, but that's what he did. I was gonna do a broken glass effect. I had seen a couple tutorials and I was ready, and then he sends me a picture of the broken glass. So I was like, okay, that's okay. I just don't want nobody to have no bad luck. Not for the sake of the creativity. I mean, yes, for the sake of the creativity. So yeah, so like I was saying, he wanted me to incorporate a cracked image. So what I was doing with this cardboard, I don't know, but I knew that essentially I didn't have to do too much because like the image is already like busy, you know what I'm saying? So I didn't want to do anything too crazy with the text. Yeah, immediately no with that cardboard. Can't even tell you where I was going with that. But now here's the part where I sift through thousands of fonts, and I actually wish Adobe gave us an option to like organize my fonts, because sometimes, you know, the fonts that you download aren't free for commercial use. They're only free for personal use, meaning like you can't like sell it or make profit off of it or whatever the case may be. Oh, what the heck? I just gave away the other design. Oh well. But yeah, so like I was saying in the other video, I think here's when I realized like, okay, you can add some type of texture to this marker effect, and I always use this drop down when there's a drop down on the right that won't interfere with me seeing the text, because how am I supposed to see text? But whatever, that's besides the point. But yeah, so I settled on this font, and I already had pre-made text effects, some from like tutorials and stuff like that. So I was just like editing this metallic effect. I like the metallic effect. I used the metallic, the first time I ever used it was on my Scorpio Zodiac series on my Instagram. Follow the Dollface Studio, and you can screenshot for lock screens, wallpapers according to your zodiac sign, sun, moon, or rising. And the Scorpio design was so fire. I loved it. It was giving very much like Drake. I want Drake to see my designs so I could work with him. That's what I'm manifesting for 2023 and 2022. Working with some celebrities, doing graphic design with some celebrities. Good celebrities. But anyways, yeah, so I was just kind of like clicking around and using whatever highlights and shadows work the best, which is like really the foundation for coming up with really good designs. Understanding your shadows and your light sources, because that's how you like make things look a little bit more like realistic, and I don't want to say 3D, but kind of 3D, because there's programs for that. Photoshop literally, oh, I actually don't think they have the 3D render anymore. I mean, I don't know. But yeah, so now I'm looking at filters for the main picture, and none of these are hitting, as you can see. I think I have the right idea though. I don't know. I think that vibe that I was going for, not for him though, because I also listened to his music, and I also like kind of studied him as an artist, like snooped around on an Instagram page just to see like what his vibe is for sure, because it's all about him as an artist, not necessarily just like this project. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe that's not how you do cover art, I don't know. But if a rock star asks me to do a cover art, why would I put gold chains and monies and big booty bitches? Like, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, now I'm just, oh, I like that ashy red though. But I skipped over this part, but I actually edited the photo to make the real colors come out because he had like a pink light, but I wasn't really feeling the pink. So I just like edited it to make it look real, like how it should have looked. So now I'm just going in, excuse me, to see the details of, to put the flares, the lens flare for the metallic effect, because it's very shiny. Is this metallic though? I guess. I don't know. I feel like there's probably a way better word for it that I can't think of at the moment, but yeah, so I'm just adding that lens flare and sifting through all of these brushes, which a tutorial that I did put me on to the fact that there was literally so many brushes already in Photoshop that you just have to like import, I guess you could say. But yeah, So adding this final touch is like super important. And I really should have put some on the crack of the mirror, but you win some, you lose some. Except, do we ever really lose? I don't think we do. And I was actually thinking of creating my own brush for the lens flares, but I'm pretty sure there's like a free pack out there somewhere. Cause it's just like, why would you waste your time to like create things unless you can create it better, or unless you're gonna do it every time. But like this metallic effect I'm gonna use often, so I just might create my own lens flare thing for that anyway. So yeah, that's basically it, and I'm saving, and it came out so good. This is actually my favorite one out of the three. I can't tell you which one was his favorite because he literally ghosted me. Oh, I must have worked on the 2 projects at one time. That's really crazy. But anyways, we're gonna get into the third and final rendition. So this last version, this last speed edit, whatever, this last commission, I started off with a perspective warp, and I did that because you can see the thing is like this. And even though I really do like this photo, I like to be provided with like something real simple so that I don't have to like move all this stuff around. And like I said, I wanted to see what the glass effect would look like if I had more time, and maybe if I wanted to do an additional commission, like edit, I guess you could call it, like another version. I probably would have tried the glass effect, but like I said, he had already provided a picture with glass, so I'm not gonna like overwork myself. But so now I'm just like fixing it and straightening it out so that I could crop it outside the mirror, so that it doesn't like look like a mirror, like it doesn't look like somebody took a picture of somebody in a mirror. But a lot of this part is me also just like cleaning up my workspace. I wish I was like a more organized editor, but I'm not. I'm gonna start to be like, if I'm gonna record myself and my design process and like really start getting into specifics of like effects that I use and stuff, I'm gonna have to be more organized, because it's not like a tutorial, but it's like a fake tutorial. I'm not at that point yet, but I will be. Maybe. If I decide to do that. Because if I decide to do that, y'all know I can do it. Period. But anyways. So what do we got here? So now I am just, like I said, cleaning up my workspace. Like when you use the selection tool or whatever, I think it was a selection tool. Yeah, like look, the bottom has, I gotta like erase all that to make it look. Why when you screen record it like bleeds like that? I wonder why, because it doesn't look cute. But anyways, now I'm just going in to fix the lighting again because he had like a pink light and I didn't love that pink light. So I'm just like color grading it and fixing the tint and the temperature and the contrast and the exposure, and those things come in handy. But see, I don't know, now I like mess it up because like now the picture looks ashy, but I'm gonna fix it, so don't you worry, because guess what's gonna come in clutch later on? The layer masks, period. Okay, excuse me. So now I am editing the mirror, and this mirror has so much detail. But the inspiration that I got from this was an ad for a show on Hulu, and usually when I do designs or whatever, the turnaround time that I tell people is way longer than what it actually takes. And I only say that because like I want to give myself time to like become inspired. So I'm not gonna be like, yeah, I could do it for you tomorrow, and then the day after next I find like I just get inspired and have like a dope idea. So like I definitely give myself time to like sit and think with the ask, or like with whatever they're asking for, and this is a great example of me being happy that I did that, because like literally the next day, I think he had asked me to do it, or like he sent his deposit and we agreed on everything. I saw the ad for the show on Hulu, and the lady was like in a mirror just like this, in like an old-timey mirror, and it was like a broken glass, and it was like so cool, and I was like, oh my god, that'll be a picture. I think I have a picture. Yeah, I have a picture of it in my phone. But yeah, now I'm going back in and just erasing and fixing the details for that mirror, because child, details are important. And I'm gonna be real, before this I was a little lazy, and I'm like, I would see something, I would be like, they can't see it. But I'm like, if you can see it, 9 times out of 10 they can see it. So that was like a weird mindset that I had. I don't know. So what I'm doing now is like I centered him in the mirror, like how I wanted him to look, and then I was just erasing everything around it. Like doing stuff like this, like I wonder if there was an easy way to do it. Probably not. It doesn't matter, in all honesty, as long as it gets done. That's how I feel. I sound a little congested. I just had COVID a couple weeks ago. Well, a week and some change ago. But we back, right? I'm here for y'all. Showing up and showing out. Your friendly neighborhood graphic designer. But yeah, again, playing with these layer masks and seeing like what looks good and what I want to add. And literally, I just click through each one and I'm like, does this look good? Does this look good? Which is a blessing and a curse, I think, because sometimes like it'll mess up, because it's very like chaotic. But ultimately I know the vision that I'm going for, so maybe it's not that chaotic as it sounds. It like feels chaotic, but it's not that chaotic. Yeah, so just like playing with these layer styles, that's what they're called. I'm gonna start using the right verbiage so I don't say. I don't have on my glasses and I can't see. I'm still playing with this like layer style. Let it go. Yeah, this part is kind of boring. It's not too much going on. But I will say that another thing that made these details like pop out to me was when I added the drop shadow effect, and I was like, oh, that looks a little scraggly. Oh, you can't see because the freaking screen recording thing. I really think it's like the space and the disk space and the memory that I have on my phone that is just like giving me such a hard time. But again, just cleaning it up so that I don't have like a whole bunch of like random pieces of a picture.